Well, I do think, in fact, that's the bulk of the structural build on the outside done. Part 2 will be where I start dicking about inside, where I build the kitchen and all sorts of excitement like that. G'day folks, Andy here from McDowell Manor. So that's the lino that you can see I'm about to start and fold out, and I'll probably cut some spare off. I was kind of hoping it'd just wrap up the side, but I don't think it will without being cut off, even if I juggle it back to about the middle. The length is about right. It was just that that's the width that it came in, so I didn't have much choice. So the battery shelf I've made out of ply, just to give it a little more structure to make sure everything's strong, and I've screwed into the steel frame of the trailer for that bit. And then I presume when I fiberglass that, that'll be good. Now, what'll fit beside that is my little spice rack. And then beside that I've put a big cupboard. Now I've decided to go with a real thin bit of ply, because this back sheet you can see there, it's not attached really to anything. So I wanted to give it a little bit more strength and a little bit less sort of flexing and capacity to move. So I put the shelf on there, the big cupboard shelf for the kitchen, and screwed that on into the metal as well. And then I'm going to put ply on both ends. That'll also add a bit of structure. She's coming together. I've decided I'm actually not going to do too much here. I'll put a little thin narrow shelf with a lip on it, I think, because honestly, like, between linen and clothing up there, and I might put a horizontal shelf in the middle of that to give me 2 shelves for clothes, and then the kitchen storage here. I don't need a whole lot of bloody other storage. Like, all I'll do is confine myself in here and make it feel small. Well, that's my current thought process anyway. I've already mentioned, there's your front. That's where I'm going to keep my bedding and probably my clothes. This will be, and it's screwed into the metal, and then it will also be PMF'd. Let's start and use the lingo, eh? Foamie fiberglassed, PMF'd. So it's nice and strong, and the battery will go up there. So as you can see, that really is quite close to where that is. Now the only thing I could fit in behind it was a little narrow spice rack. That's okay. Bear in mind, this is my kitchen. So the kitchen bench is going to drop off the grid. I also added a little speakeasy. So if someone knocks on the outside, I can just open her up and have a look and see. I'll put a little knob in here so I can see who the hell it is. That's going to be a big cupboard that I'll put all my plates and pots and pans and stuff for the kitchen in. I haven't got that many, so it should be right. And I think then all I'll do is just add a narrow cupboard along this top of here. I don't want it too wide, just to sort of put stuff. I might even just leave it as a shelf so I can put stuff on it when I want to. Not a lot else to do really. I do like that mesh, being mesh, because I was thinking about it before. I could actually hang a clothes hanger with a shirt on it. If I needed a good shirt sometime, just hang it on that grid, and that'd keep it, you know, ironed. So, fridge is in. The toilet's going to live under the bed. A lot of this shit will just come out. Well, there you go. And like I say, I've got the shore power now. So that's good. I wanted to include this useful tip for everyone else who's trying to learn this crap as well. I use tape to keep a lot of things in position. And what I've found is when I pull that tape off, when the glue's dry, it will often take the foil with it. And so what I've been doing is using the excess tape to take the foil off. So I just find an edge, put the tape on the edge like that, and then start peeling, and normally, as you can see, it gives you an edge, and that makes it much better and quicker and easier to get rid of the foil, and it's also double use of the tape. So there's my spice rack, there's my plate stander, and there's the rest of that cupboard. And I just want to put one shelf, like I say, down the middle over there, about where the pink on the far end of right there. Because that battery's so bloody heavy, well, it's a lot better than it used to be when it was a gel, but it's still pretty heavy even as a lithium. I've screwed that into the steel and then straight through the top into that bit, so that now shouldn't go anywhere. I've also glued some extra brackets on the side there for stability. Little thin piece of foam up under there for extra, just to stop it moving so much. And one on the inside of there. I'm thinking I got the inside painter here. Oh, who happened to be the same bloke that did the outside, so I got the painter here. And Captain Tony reckoned, why don't you, I was whinging to him about where am I going to get something really light and fairly thin that I can use for bloody cupboard doors, mate. And he said, why don't you just put a bit of your foam in on each side, buy some core board, that some people call it core flute, some call it foam, well, it's a foam board as well, so it depends on where you live, I think. And that way the foam board will just slide on the insulation foam between the tracks. So I reckon I'm going to try that. I reckon that's bloody clever. Don't tell him I said that, but it's bloody clever. Some little side skirts for the window cover for where that speakeasy's going. There you go. The door handle on properly. It was leaking. I couldn't work out where or how it was leaking. I think it was through the top of the hinges. So what I've done is put a top on that. I figure once it's fiberglass, it can also double as a little bench if I want to rest stuff there while I'm doing things outside. I've worked out this is going to be my first bit that I'll fiberglass. A, it's small and manageable. B, it's got some complexity to it that will cause me to stop and think. And that's pretty much what I wanted. That additional shelving, I want it on that side. You can see I've sloped that one bit so it makes a not pointy surface on there. Not going to put cupboard doors on. I might put a lip on, sort of like I did with the spice rack. I probably will actually, because then what I can do is add that stretchy netting stuff behind it if I did want to travel and make sure stuff stayed up there. Otherwise it's looking good. So the first night I had substantial rain and it did pool on the roof, and you can see it has dripped through a bit. Now I identified where that was coming from, and believe it or not, because it was on the floor down there, you can probably still see, still damp, it was actually coming from up under there where that glue is now. Because I just poured, I worked out what was happening, so I poured Gorilla Glue through, knowing that it would expand. And I'm pretty confident now I've clogged all the holes. I hadn't realised that was a bit damp, so I left something on it. Now that it's exposed, I'm hoping that should dry off. You can see there's probably water under that table too, bugger it. But when the painters are done in the garage, I'll be able to pull all this crap out. Well, if I've got to replace a bit of foam board, plyboard, well, so be it, it's only 4mm. Alright folks, so that divider's in. All we got to do now is come up with sliding cupboard doors, and I'll be a very happy camper. Quite literally. So the last of the shelves are on. As per usual, these ones have bloody leant forward again on me, the buggers. But that's okay. So all I've got to do is add cupboard doors. Final things. That, believe it or not, is a 60-litre water tank, which will go up underneath the trailer. And this was an absolute score off Facebook Marketplace. It's a reverse cycle portable air conditioner. That pipe pulls out, so it extends like that, and I'll wrap the end out the window. Cools and heats. So we'll be glamping in our camper, provided it doesn't explode first time I hit the road. So we've had a bit of rain last couple of days. Not a lot, just a little bit. Looks like the bulk of the roof has been fixed and is no longer pooling, which is great, except for the bit where I joined. So what I'm thinking, I might just take it all the way out to the front. Problem solved, I think. And I've certainly got that much spare, so... Oh well, I'm glad I saw it, that's good. Especially before a bloody fiberglass, that would have been a debacle. Oh, you can always also see I've been using that spack filler to tidy up. I'll give you a closer look at that when it's closer to done. And that was the roof fix. It sloped that way, so I hopefully this time get the fall right. One of the other things you can see is I'm really increasing the amount of Sikaflexing I'm doing. Getting ready to start and think seriously about the outside fiberglassing. Now I'm a lot better equipped and have a half a clue what I'm doing.